always been messy. But even in science, the old idea of nature obeying exact laws has given way to a more flexible view. We can find rules and models that are approximately true. In some areas, approximate means to 10 decimal places. In others, it means between 10 times as small and 10 times as large. But they're always provisional, to be displaced if and when fresh evidence comes along. Chaos theory tells us that even when something does obey rigid rules, it may still be unpredictable. Quantum theory tells us that deep down at its smallest levels, the universe is inherently unpredictable. Uncertainty isn't just a sign of human ignorance. It's what the world is made of. We could just be fatalistic about the future, as many people are, but most of us are uncomfortable about that way of living. We suspect that it will probably lead to disaster, and we have a sneaking feeling that with a little foresight, disaster might be averted. A common human tactic when faced with something we dislike is either to guard against it or try to change it. But what precautions should we take when we don't know what's going to happen? After the Titanic disaster, ships were required to fit extra lifeboats. Their weight caused the SS Eastland to capsize on Lake Michigan, and 848 people died. The law of unintended consequences can foil the best of intentions. We're concerned about the future because we're time-binding animals. We have a strong sense of our location in time. We anticipate future events, and we act now because of those anticipations. We don't have time machines, but we often behave as if we do, so that a future event causes us to take action before it occurs. Of course, the real cause of today's action isn't the wedding or the thunderstorm or the rent bill that will happen tomorrow. It's our present belief that it's going to happen. Our brains, shaped by both evolution and individual learning, let us choose our actions today to make our lives easier tomorrow. Brains are decision-making machines, making guesses about the future. The brain makes some decisions a split second ahead. When a cricketer or baseball player catches the ball, there's a small but definite time delay between the visual system detecting the ball and the brain working out where it is. Remarkably, they usually catch the ball because their brain is pretty good at anticipating its trajectory, but when they fumble an apparently easy catch, either the prediction or their reaction to it went wrong. The whole process is subconscious and apparently seamless, so we don't notice that we live our entire lives in a world that's running a split second ahead of our brain. Other decisions may be taken days, weeks, months, years, or even decades ahead. We get up in time to get to the bus or train to work. We buy food for tomorrow's meals or next week's. We plan a family outing for the coming public holiday, and everyone involved does things now to prepare for then. Wealthy parents in the UK sign their children up for posh schools before they're born. Wealthier ones plant trees that won't mature for centuries, so that their great-great-great-grandchildren will get an impressive view. How does the brain foretell the future? It builds simplified internal models of how the world works, or may work, or is presumed to work. It feeds what it knows into the model and observes the outcome. If we spot a loose carpet, one of these models tells us that this could be dangerous, causing someone to trip and fall down the stairs. We take preventative action and fix the carpet in the correct position. It doesn't really matter whether this particular forecast is right. In fact, if we've fixed the carpet properly, it can't be right because the conditions fed into the model no longer apply. However, evolution or personal experience can test the model and improve it by seeing what happens in similar cases when preventative action isn't taken. Models of this kind need not be accurate descriptions of how the world works. Instead, they amount to beliefs about how the world works. And so, over tens of thousands of years, the human brain evolved into a machine that makes decisions based on its beliefs about where those decisions will lead. It's therefore no surprise that one of the earliest ways we learned to cope with uncertainty was to construct systematic beliefs about supernatural beings who were in control of nature. We knew we weren't in control, but nature constantly surprised us, often unpleasantly, so it seemed reasonable to assume that some inhuman entities, spirits, ghosts, gods, goddesses, were in control. Soon a special class of people came into being who claimed they could intercede with the gods to help us.